Nice of you to invite me to the meeting, Carl.
I'm pleased you could come to our Lions meeting, Francis. We're glad to have you with us.
Thanks. I'm sure we're going to have a good time.
Well, Palm Springs will be opening a Lions chapter soon, so as we won't have to make this drive.
Carl, you ever looked at San Jacinto?
The mountain? What, pass it every day or
something? No, Carl, looked at it. Been to the top and looked down. Walked the summit. Seen the bighorns.
Can't say that I have. It's a long, hard walk. Been meaning to ride a horse in there, but that takes too much time.
Something to see, Carl. It's a sight you can't compare.
Might want to share it with everyone else, huh?
Just what I was thinking. Carl, you're gonna think me a fool, but I have an idea. I was at the foot of the mountain, looking up and wishing I could share this with everyone. And then it was like a dream.
Come to the point, Francis. Is it gonna cost me and my paper money?
A tramway, Carl. Like they have in Switzerland, the Alps. To take people up the mountain in minutes instead of hours and days.
A tramway? The dickens, you say?
It can be done, Carl. I know it in my heart. We can do it.
So what time are we gonna leave? Let's try to catch the first car up. We'll leave, let's say 9:30.
Did you pack my camping stuff?
What? This is a vacation, Len. You two are going to help with everything.
I've got mine packed already.
Traitor.
Dad.
I'm going.
Mom, tell me, what's the plan?
First, we're taking the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway to the top of Mount San Jacinto, and then we're going to do some exploring in the state park.
This tram is amazing. Every time I take it, it is great.
Took some far-sighted people to figure that one out.
I bet the engineering was really something.
As a matter of fact, I was reading about it in the magazine, and the story fascinated me so much. Oh, while you were packing, dear, I went out to the lobby and got us a videotape which tells all about the history of the tramway. Our VCR is already hooked up.
Neither Francis Crocker nor Carl Barkow let that day slip too far from their thoughts. Over the next few years, whenever Crocker mentioned the idea for a tram, he was met with either derision or laughter. Francis Crocker alone kept believing. Well, not all alone. Often his sole support through these years was his wife, Rosalie Crocker.
Would you guys support me if I had a crazy idea?
The tram wasn't a crazy idea. It got built.
Wait, okay, Dad, what is your crazy idea? Let's get specific here.
Yeah, no fishing for compliments allowed here.
I'm watching the movie.
At last, in 1938, two far-sighted men stopped and listened to Crocker and shared his dream. O. Earl Kaufman, owner of the Desert Inn, and Warren Pinney, developer of El Mirador, agreed to commission an engineering study to test the feasibility of the tram idea. They invested the then considerable sum of $2,400. 2 years later, a vacationer, Mr. Russell Cohn, a civil engineer on the Golden Gate Bridge project, saw that study. He contacted Frank Masters, who studied the proposal more carefully and proved that the project could be accomplished.
How do you feel now, Francis? They all agree it can be done.
Never had any doubts. Oh, thanks, honey.
Rosalie.
Now, Carl, don't get too excited. It's still a long way off.
Have you heard what they've been saying, Carl? They're calling the tramway Crocker's folly.
Now, Rosalie.
It makes me so angry.
It doesn't mean a thing what they say. As long as they don't try to stop me, they can laugh all they want to.
Another 6 years passed before Palm Springs' first mayor, Mr. Philip Boyd, went to Sacramento and helped push through legislation establishing a Mount San Jacinto Winter Park Authority, an agency which was authorized to raise the funds needed to build the tramway. 15 years later, in 1961, private bonds in the amount of $8.15 million were sold, and the building of the tramway was begun.
1932 to 1962. That's 30 years. Imagine somebody wanting something and waiting 30 years to get it. Wow.
All that work and they hadn't even begun to build anything yet.
But the construction was easier than getting the idea accepted.
I don't know. Remember, this was the longest single-lift passenger tram ever attempted. It travels a total distance of 13,200 feet with a vertical ascent of nearly 6,000 feet.
I'm really impressed.
Me too. I mean, I just think it's a great ride. You know, you've got all these facts and figures.
Len, the first time I ever rode on the tram was on one of our first dates. I made a point of learning everything I could about the ride.
Oh, that's romantic, you guys.
Thanks, babe.
Francis Crocker used to ride horseback from Idlewild to the top of San Jacinto Mountain. He'd look down at the beautiful Chino Canyon. He thought the canyon was the best place for the tramway. Crocker was right. Surveyors and engineers agreed that indeed Chino Canyon was the best place to build. The Von Roh Company of Switzerland supplied all of the tramway equipment. They were and still are the leading designers of such equipment in the world. Dixon and Emptman Construction of Los Angeles was named the firm to actually oversee the construction. Ground was broken on October 10th, 1961. The idea was to build 5 towers, a base station, and a station at the top. Only the first tower was reachable by road. The original plan was to haul all the construction equipment up the mountain with a cable system called a Joe McGee. The builders had one helicopter which assisted in carrying men and equipment. Soon it became obvious that using the copter was a quicker and cheaper way to build the tramway. The Joe McGees were used only to haul pieces of equipment that were too heavy for the helicopter. The enormous task of constructing the other 4 towers and the station at the top then fell mainly to the modern workhorse of construction, the helicopter. Most every piece of equipment, every person, all the building material had to be lifted to the construction sites by these copters. 6 pilots from United Helicopter of Santa Monica, led by their chief pilot, Don Landells, flew over 7,000 hours, 23,000 missions up and down the face of the mountain. They landed on 20 by 20 foot pads constructed out over the canyon, day in and day out. Heavy machinery had to be dismantled at the base of the hill, shipped up piece by piece, then reassembled at the top. Each copter carried 800 pounds per trip. It took them 20 minutes to go up the mountain with their loads, but only 4 minutes to come back down. And they did all this without one single serious accident. An amazing feat of flying skills. 35 construction workers and engineers lived in metal bunkhouses at the top of the mountain all week long, going up on Monday morning and not coming down until Friday afternoon. It took 2 years to complete the construction of the towers, the station, and to lay the cable. 263 tons of steel went into building the 5 towers. Each was set into solid bedrock. It took many more months to string the cable between the towers, the mountain and valley stations. The track cable, built by American Steel and Wire in Trenton, New Jersey, stretched 13,500 feet. At the time, it was the longest locked coil cable ever built. On September 12, 1963, 31 years after Francis Crocker first had the dream, the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway opened for business.
Well, I'm ready.
There's more videotape.
Oh, it's past 9:30. If we're gonna make that first car, we gotta get going now.
Yeah, Mama, I'm all psyched up.
Okay. Just gotta let me explain to you on the way how it all works.
We're on vacation. Don't you engineers ever stop doing your engineering stuff?
Well, if you really mind.
No.
No.
We're
We
all
don't mind.
in.
We don't mind.
Just let's get going.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, over here. Hurry. That's where the 1,000 horsepower DC motor, which drives this whole thing, lives. And there's the 10-foot bull wheel.
What are you talking about?
If you'd watched the tape.
Oh, give us a break.
Yeah, that's really bogus.
Mommy.
Okay, everybody, please watch your step.
Last call, all aboard, please.
We're about to go by the first tower. It's the tallest tower, standing 214 feet high.
Excuse me. Do you do this all the time?
You mean run the cars?
Yeah.
Yes and no. We all share jobs in the tram. And we have a special crew for maintenance. They ride the top, checking on the line.
The top? You mean they ride on top of this tram?
Yeah, every day someone rides on top. They check on the cables, make sure everything's perfect.
That must be scary.
And it is at first, but they get used to it.
Well, I'm impressed. I guess you know how to run this thing.
I guess I do.
You think you could explain it to me?
Sure. Tell you what. I'll tell you how this thing runs and use your imagination. Picture it.
You got a deal.
All right. Well, basically, the system's a double reversible aerial tramway. That means that the cars stay on the same side all the time. They both go up and down on their own track. Because the cars are joined together by the hauling and tension cables, the car going down helps to pull the car going up. Of course, that means that the two cars run at exactly the same speed. Each car can carry 80 people and one operator. The highest speed we can travel is 1,600 feet a minute, but we don't usually travel that fast. We're going at 1,200 feet a minute now, and it'll take us about 14 minutes to get to the top. The cars are supported from two stationary track cables. Each are 1 7/8 inch in diameter. Steel cable is very heavy. Each one of the track cables weighs 60 tons. When you string them from one support to another, well, gravity kind of takes over somewhere in the middle, between the towers. The weight of the cables makes them sag. Then when the cars run over them, they get even heavier.
I used to ride a horse that had the same problem.
You're right. The idea is the same, but you can't let the cables sag. To keep them from sagging too much, each track cable is then attached to a triple counterweight made of concrete. Each counterweight weighs 83 tons. It moves up and down as needed to keep a constant tension on them. Then there's the two moving hauling cables. They're each 1 1/4 inch in diameter. These are the cables that actually pull the cars up and down. The hauling cable runs from the carriage at the top of the car down to the valley station. Then it runs over a series of pulleys to the big bull wheel. Our powerful 1,000 horsepower DC motor turns the bull wheel, which hauls the cable. That's where most of the work is done, at the valley station. That's where the control panel is located too. The whole system is computerized to make the ride especially smooth. Two 1 3/8 inch counter ropes are attached to the carriage. The counter ropes run to the mountain station. They're attached to other counterweights up there. Each of these counterweights weighs 31 tons. The counter ropes act to pull up on the cable, keeping it from sagging too much. Now look up there. There's two other cables. One's a telephone cable for communications, and the other's an auxiliary rope. We use that in case we need another car for maintenance, things like that. That's it. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, my name's Bob.
Hi, Bob.
You enjoying the ride?
Oh, we always do.
Great.
You know, I have one more question. How does, like, all the water and food and that kind of stuff get up there by helicopter?
No, by using these cars. Every car is capable of carrying 800 gallons of water in a special tank underneath. Through a hose connector, we just pump it into a storage tank up top. Everything you see up top gets there by using these cars. And when we transport water, we can only carry 40 people. Otherwise, the car's capable of carrying 80 people.
Awesome.
Excuse me, folks.
You know, I read where we passed through 5 separate ecological zones from the bottom to the top, and that there can be a 40 degrees temperature change from the desert to the mountain station. Isn't that something?
Oh, look, there's Chino Cathedral Rock.
Hey, look, there's the other car.
Yeah.
Oh, that means we're halfway there. The cars pass each other between towers 2 and 3. That's the halfway point of the trip.
Oh,
This is great.
yeah, sure.
What a great day.
Yeah, there's nothing like breathing clean, crisp air.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
Hi.
You here for the day, or are you planning on staying overnight?
Oh, it's just a day hike today. We're on our way to Round Valley.
Great. I just came back from there, and it's not too crowded and real pretty today.
Well, you know, you can't miss up here. We've been up to San Jacinto Peak and a long hike to Deer Springs, and then later we're going to Tamarack Valley. It's really been great.
Well, we're sure proud of our state park, and whether you're staying overnight in the wilderness or just here for a day hike and picnicking, we try and make your experience a great one.
Oh, believe me, we have wonderful memories.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Well,
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
You will.
Bye. So great here in the summer. I can't wait to come back in the winter.
First time I ever rode the tram was in winter.
I remember.
You should. It was one of our first dates. Your dad took me cross-country skiing up here. I was very impressed with his good taste.
Like it?
It was glorious. I never knew snow could be so much fun.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Liked it. I loved it. And you promised me we could come back here at least once a year.
Everything's black. Wait, ready? Wait.
You know, we pretty much have.
Hey, did you take the mule ride too?
Not in the winter, but we have a couple of times since.
Can we take it today?
I don't know. Do we have time?
Sure. Let's go. Let's go. Hi, can we take the mule ride?
Sure, come on up, climb aboard.
Right.
All right, everybody ready? The ride is about 1.25 miles long, and we're going to see some interesting plants and wildlife along the way. And if anybody's curious, please feel free to ask questions. All right, come on up, you'll cut.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Anyone hungry yet?
There's a bear.
Dad.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes.
Like his honey.
This is great. Oh, I'm so hungry.
Are you?
Me too.
I really am.
Well, we put in a full day here, guy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, come sit
music.
by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu. But remember the Red River Valley and the cowboy who loved you so true.
Oh, thank you.
This is great. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Our pleasure, sweetheart.
I'll second that. So are we on for this winter?
Dad, does a bear
Like his honey.
You know, I thanked you guys, but I forgot to thank the person who really made this possible.
Who's that, Sue?
The man with the dream, Mr. Francis Crocker.